Quepos development over the years was so focused on tourism and the business of tourism, they almost forgot the ecological consequences of rapid commercial development. One hotel complex realized their responsibility to the environment on the company's 15 acres of property in the highlands. They built a 22-room hotel complex using only 14% of their land. On the remaining 86% is a Scarlet Macaw Rescue Center and Sanctuary. We'll show you more of the hotel in a moment, but first, the beautiful Scarlet Macaws or Lapa Rojas.
Here we have a Scarlet Macaw reintroduction program, and we have 7 hectares reserved for that purpose. So we release macaws, or we breed and release macaws to have in the future a healthy Scarlet Macaw population.
Why is it necessary to have a reintroduction program? Aren't there Scarlet Macaws in this area? And if there are not, why not?
They were in this area, but they disappeared in 1940 or before. And we think now we have the conditions, and we are working in have a good forest with long and big trees, wide trees where they can eat and have nests. So we think we have now the conditions to bring them back to the area.
Why is the Scarlet Macaw so special? Why the Scarlet Macaw? Why not other birds?
The scarlets and the parrots seems to be very important for the ecosystem because they don't eat the whole seed. They throw many pieces away to the floor, so they make them available for other mammals and other animals that roam and look for food in the floor, so they can disperse the seeds to other places. So that's good for the trees because they can rebuild forest in different places. They don't have their offspring above them, doing the right in.
They have their offspring.
They can spread the offspring out, so they don't have to be in like a small clusters where only one big tree will be and the others won't have enough light. So they will go to different places and disperse the seeds of the different trees that they eat. And they eat more than 60 different species of plants. And they also could be like opportunistic insect eaters. So that's good sometimes for the health of the trees.
How far do the Scarlet Macaws travel? I mean, do they stay in this area or do they migrate?
We are seeing that they are moving to the mountains, to the towns of Londres and Naranjito and Sábalo. That would be maybe 20 kilometers from here. But in other studies in different countries, they can see that they move more than 40 kilometers to look for food when they are not in the breeding season. When in the breeding season, they stay in one place, look for food, but come back to the nest. And they have a nest that they will take care of along the season, and they don't move a lot.
So what is inside that nest that looks like a barrel? Is there what is inside?
There is only a bed in the bottom, we have a bed with wood shavings that keep the babies warm and clean, because they are always cleaning the bedding and throwing away all the dirty parts. And every year we provide new bedding and we clean the old one and we clean the barrel and make everything new so they can use it again.
Why is it so important to help reintroduce the Scarlet Macaw? Why is that important?
Sometimes it's hard for them to move and get into a new forest because there are some boundaries that prevent that. So it's easier if you help them and they work as magnets. So when one macaw hears the macaws we have here, they will come. So they will join and make a bigger group. When the macaws disappeared from Quepos and most places in Costa Rica, only 2 populations stayed. And it was Carara, that is around Quepos and the Carara and close to La Cangreja National Park, and in the south, the Osa Peninsula. But they disappeared from other places in the country where they used to be because they changed all the forests, they destroyed the forest, cut all the trees down to build cities or plant different things. And so that's why Quepos changed a lot. It was a big mangrove and they loved this place, but now it's completely different.
Next up, feeding time, primarily for those macaws still held in supervised detention, plus for those free-flying who haven't quite broken away from the comfort and safety of the refuge. As we mentioned earlier, this refuge is the product of Gaia Hotel's enlightened owners who realize how important it is to be a responsible manager of the ecological resource as well as run a profitable tourism business. Gaia Hotel is a 5-star boutique property with 22 rooms tastefully organized on a mountainside overlooking the Pacific. There are a variety of rooms which reflect an extraordinary eye to design that complements an eco-lodge of this quality. Several swimming pools and lounge areas are tastefully placed within the property's environment, each unique so that even when the hotel is full, guests will always feel comfortable in their space. Gaia's open-air 5-star restaurant, La Luna, with a magnificent panoramic view, creates a beautiful dining experience with local expertise and a combination of fresh local produce, seafood, and meat. In the afternoon, Anna Maria and her assistant prepare food for their charges.
These are the breeding couples. So they are supposed to one day lay eggs and raise chicks that are going to be released in the future. And they stay here because they cannot fly. They were pets, their behavior is weird, or they cannot fly, they are injured. So they stay in this cage until they find a partner, and then we move them to the smaller cages with the nest.
The honeymoon suite.
Yes. Monkey deterrent.
Wow. No monkeys stealing the Scarlet Macaw's food.
They have plenty of food out there. group that is going to be released this year. They are about 1 year old, but there's one that is older. That is a macaw that was shot. So she had a bullet in her wing, and we have to take that out. And now she can fly. Now she's doing great, and she's older than the others. Hopefully she will be the leader, and the others will follow her.
What is their maximum age? How old?
70 years.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they can live a long time, a long life. That's another reason why to not have them for pets, because they live for too long. And sometimes they outlive their owners.
Macaws that have been released still hang out around the pre-release cage, particularly at feeding time, a behavior that may go on for several months. It's almost like they're keeping their friends company. This is a very successful reintroduction program that has done everything right, from the frequent attention and ministrations of a veterinarian to the commitment of land and resources.
And this small cage at the end of the trail is our quarantine area. Right now we only have 2 babies. They are going to stay here for a few more days. They are only like 2 months old. Yes, they are tiny little babies.
If you'd like to visit or stay at the hotel, or perhaps just make a contribution or a comment, please visit the appropriate website.